What are some simple tips people can do now to start protecting themselves?
Well, there's a lot that you can do to reduce your chances of ending up on the wrong side of a lawsuit. The first thing I would recommend is ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution. In any contract that you have with your employees, with your suppliers, with your business partners, include an ADR provision, which says that anytime there's a dispute, it's going to be settled outside of court by a neutral mediator as opposed to going through the court system. Next, I recommend buying insurance. Buy as much car insurance as your auto agent will sell you. Our nation's roads are quickly becoming a highway to wealth. Other types of insurance that are good to have: homeowners insurance and umbrella insurance, malpractice insurance in most circumstances. Now, if a doctor is paying $100,000 a year for $200,000 of coverage, I say skip that and let's just put together a good asset protection plan for you. This is not the most romantic advice, but signing a prenuptial agreement. Now, a prenuptial agreement can be disregarded by a court, but at least you have gotten the mindset of both parties on the same page, and that can be helpful to decide who gets what in the event of a divorce while the waters are calm, as opposed to spending a lot more time, money, and energy down the road fighting over things later. Same issue with insurance. Insurance is great. However, some cases, some situations will not be covered by insurance. Insurance does not cover everything. Insurance companies sometimes, for the bigger cases, will try to hide behind one of the exclusions. And some cases will go beyond policy limits. Sometimes insurance gets paid late, and there's a little lapse in coverage. So what else can be done? Well, protecting your assets. And there's two ways of doing this. One is to rely on exemption planning. What cannot be taken away from you in bankruptcy? A car worth around $10,000, depending on what state you're in. A certain amount of equity in your homestead cannot be taken. Retirement accounts, IRAs, 401k, depending on how much you have in those and what state you're in, those may already be protected. Now, IRAs and 401ks can still be taken because of a tax debt or a divorce. And then finally, protecting your assets through the use of an offshore asset protection trust. So if it's not going to fall into an exemption planning, putting into an offshore trust will still allow you to essentially control how your money is invested, still direct when you receive a distribution. But if someone gets a judgment against you, you can prevent them from collecting. And one more tip, don't be flashy. Now, I realize if being flashy helps you grow your business, then go be flashy. But the more attention that you get on yourself, the more likely it is someone's going to want to take a bite of that apple.
Brings up a great question. Let's say business guy Joe isn't flashy. His net worth is 10, 15 million. But his wife likes to show everything on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to bite him in the ass?
Maybe. Yes, social media is a powerful tool for growing a business. I guess it's a tool also for growing egos in some situations as well. I use a lot of social media. I share a lot of my life on social media, but it's definitely a common thing that comes up in lawsuits where people say, well, on this financial affidavit, you say you don't have any money, but explain where you're getting all these cars that you keep posting on social media. So yes, having a spouse who's flaunting your wealth for you could attract a lawsuit.
Yeah, and people like to tag locations and all that fun stuff too.
Oh, correct. It's great for stalkers too.
Well, then just, when they're getting deposed, why were you here on this date?
Correct.
Gives them an easy roadmap to find you.
Yep, it does.
Any other things people can do to protect themselves in day-to-day?
Day-to-day, treat your clients with respect. Most of us don't want to sue somebody who generally was trying to do their best for us. On the other hand, if you are harmed by someone and you feel like they never cared about you in the first place, people are more willing to bring a lawsuit against you. So showing a genuine concern for people. Having well-drafted business documents. It is worth the time and the effort to have an attorney look over legal documents for you before you engage in business, because it's very easy to have a contract get drawn up. You can download a contract from Google for free and have it ready to sign in a few minutes. But when it comes time to actually enforce that contract or defend yourself, you're going to need to hire an attorney. And it's much better if you've hired an attorney from the beginning to draft that contract. So when something comes up, the attorney's familiar and stands behind that document.
And puts in the ADR.
and puts in ADR. Absolutely. If you are an attorney and you are looking for work, you can very easily find work now suing somebody else's employer. Employment litigation, especially here in California,
Oh,
is very prevalent. It's a reason that my firm has been getting lots of phone calls from disgruntled former employees. And it's very easy for a former employee to exaggerate or even fabricate a claim against their employer. And
yeah.
again,
Once you get to mediation, you're going to settle.
again,
It's going to cost you 75 grand to get to mediation.
correct. And you can often just pay off a case and move forward, or you can stand on your ground, but take the risk that you're going to get a jury that, for the wrong reasons, doesn't like you. And I work with some people in the political space who are concerned that if they are sued, they're going to have a jury who finds a hefty verdict against them, not because of the reason for the lawsuit, but because they've taken a political stance.